Algorators, come on in here. Come on in here. Happy Thursday, everybody. Also, happy Labor Day. Sorry, Memorial Day. Happy Labor Day weekend this weekend. I hope you guys have some amazing plans. Sonny Clark has decided to start a whole mess at the top of the show. Came in early. Jussie Smollett is innocent. Apologize publicly. Never. I worked too many hours on that case and know way too much information, buddy. Can't agree with you on that. Tanita. Hey, everyone. Al, I love your show. I never catch a live one, but I'm happy to be here today. Welcome. Mary, welcome. Venetia Phillips, always great to have you in the house. Thank you so much. Essie Stone, welcome. Tasia Davis. Rizlin, welcome. Oh, these are some new names. Riri, welcome back. Riri, everybody. Tonight, we're talking money, guns, and murder when celebrity life meets what we call court life. Welcome back to Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, where the headlines are messy tonight, the lawsuits are juicy, and the verdict, well, guess what? That's up to you. Tonight's docket is hotter than a hot pocket out of the microwave. Pinky Cole, the slutty vegan queen accused of being a little slutty with her landlord's rent money. Actress Alix Lapri hit with child cruelty charges that could wreck her rising star. Rapper Boosie, can't wait to hear what that attorney Sean Carter's got to say. Once again, is in court, but this time he's pleading guilty to gun charges. And T. Hood, you remember the T. Hood story that we covered here, right here, involving possibly the Frost family or the kids of the Frost family. He's a rapper's death is now ruled a homicide. We can't wait to break that down, leaving more questions than answers. And I got a lot for our legal beagles. And joining us tonight, our legal beagles. First up, we have that fiery civil attorney, Shatan Turner. Shatan, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Hey, Your Honor, I'm glad to be back.
All right. Is this the first week of school or the second week of school for the kids?
The first week of school. We have survived Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and I'm already looking forward to the long weekend.
Now, listen, do they like their teachers? Are they at a different school? Like, where are they?
So they're at the same school. The big news is my daughter is doing AP World History this year, so that's going to be a big thing. Hopefully she can get a 5 so we can get that free credit in college. And then the boys are at the same school. My older one started middle school and the little one is in 2nd grade, and they're both running cross country. So,
all right, talking about cross country, let's bring in that author, that attorney straight out of the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, the author of Shit They Didn't Teach You in Law School, Jason Weiss. Welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Thank you, Your Honor. Very excited to be here. Can't wait to get started on these stories.
Now, you shipped your son off last week.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
And how is he? This is first week of school, first week of classes.
First week of classes. He's at Florida State University. He's loving it. He's on his way to check out a fraternity as we speak. He just got off the lacrosse field, so he's very happy. And in the other room, I got my sophomore in high school daughter, and she's all excited for another home game tomorrow night where she gets to cheer.
She's excited to have that house by herself.
No, we all miss him. We all miss him. That was her ride everywhere. He drove. She doesn't drive yet.
Oh, okay. Last but not least, and we couldn't have a court without this attorney Sean Carter, humorist at law. Come on back in here at Celebrity Court.
Hey, everybody. If my son is out there, who, by the way, went to school and didn't finish, you owe me $25,000, boy. So I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm putting your business on the street, and if you shouldn't be watching YouTube. You need to be out in Uber making my money back. But anyway,
Attorney Carter, you're out of order. Don't call him out like that. Jeez, man, that house is hard. Jeez.
I got 4 kids. You don't know which one I'm talking about? All of them, actually, but go ahead.
All right, everybody. Court is now in session. Let's get to it. Pinky Cole built an empire flipping burgers with attitude, but slutty vegan I think was probably one of the most successful cultural phenomena that we've seen in the last 10 years. But guess what? Her landlord says her business skills aren't as seasoned as her patties. Yeah, you heard me say it. The claim is $87,000 in unpaid commercial rent. Now, according to the lawsuit, Pinky Cole's restaurant owes $87,000 in rent arrears. Now, listen, this is what all the algorithms need to know, and I can't wait till we break it down. Commercial leases are brutal. They almost always favor the landlords. Courts don't care if business is slowed. They don't care about signatures on contracts. Precedent shows tenant almost never win these fights, even during the COVID hardship. That's when I thought that they would have the most leniency. But if she loses, Pinky may have to call for back rent, legal fees, and maybe future rent too. I'm going to go to you first, Attorney Sean Carter. Can Pinky realistically argue COVID hardship or landlord misconduct as a defense, or is commercial rent ironclad?
It's largely ironclad. I mean, you'd have to argue not only did they breach some term of the agreement, but it was so bad it kept you out of the restaurant. So they didn't, I don't know, have a roof, right? Just the fact that the AC was on the blink doesn't really do it. And it's interesting, they're not just suing, by the way, Slutty Vegan and the Morning After restaurant, but they got her personally. Because a lot of times when you get these commercial rents, they make you as an individual guarantee. So like, Pinky, you can file bankruptcy you want, but we're gonna want our money.
Well, let me ask, anybody can take this question, because I always thought that she was so clever. She's a really, really, and I don't know her personally. I've interviewed her a couple of times on the red carpets, but really, really bright woman. She, in 2022, she raised $25 million in Series A funding, y'all, which I thought, holy cow, that was pretty incredible. And after raising $25 million, her business model was valued at $100 million. If you can raise $25 million, lawyers, please help me here. Isn't $87,000 like easy? Like what's going on here? Attorney Turner, tell me in your surmise what you think is happening with Pinky Cole.
I mean, I guess I could surmise she's not sledding around, and that's not why she's not paying rent. I couldn't resist. I love the concept. I still haven't had one of those burgers, and I really want one next time I go visit my sister in Atlanta. But what I suspect is she's holding out on principle. So when you see things that don't make sense, and this doesn't make sense given her resources, it means that she thinks that there's a principled reason to not pay this rent, and she's willing to go to the mat on it.
All right, Jason, what are your thoughts on this? Do you, I guess the question here for you, Jason, was if she loses, can her personal brand, if she loses, what do you think this would do to her personal brand?
I don't think it's going to do much to her personal brand. I mean, what's going to happen if she loses is she's going to owe the $40,000, the $87,000 for the two, plus attorney's fees, plus costs. And she's not just going to be able to file bankruptcy for the corporation to avoid it. She would have to file bankruptcy in her individual capacity. And I think that would hurt her brand. I also think that filing any type of bankruptcy in a professional capacity would hurt her brand. I know Attorney Turner said that, it would be maybe she's standing on principle, but this is not the place to stand on principle. Commercial leases are tough. They're usually very one-sided. The only way around it is if there's a written addendum or written something that in COVID, I represented a lot of landlords and a lot of tenants, and there was an agreement that, rent free for a period of 6 months or a year,
right? And
then extend it on the back, or you take it and you divide that amount over the last year. So something here, if she's standing on principle, listen up, Pinky. Don't stand on principle. Get it resolved. If it's something you think you can win, good luck to you, but it's very hard to win in a commercial lease.
Right, Attorney Carter, let me go back to you really quickly. In this, and Jason, if you could sit up just a little bit, I want to make sure I see you. Attorney Carter, $87,000. I can imagine lawyers battling this out is going to cost them.
Yeah, Pinky actually has been funny about this on social media. She had one post where she put a mock text up, and I want to read it here. It said, what it said, big head, come on out here and get one of these burgers so I can pay this rent. So she's not taking it that seriously, right? She really, you know, it isn't a big deal because, like you said, if you raise $25 million, you're not really thinking, right, about, you know, $4 grand a month or whatever it is. Also, I want to think the interesting thing here is the landlord did not file for eviction. He is not even trying to get her out of the space. What he's trying to do is to get his money or their money. And I imagine what the landlord is doing is the landlord will make some deal where they'll say, okay, give me 40 grand now and pay me, you know, $4 grand extra a month for next year, and we'll make it right. You know, because the last thing you want to do as a landlord, by the way, those two restaurants are next to each other. So the last thing you want as a landlord is to have both of those places empty, right? The neighbors don't want that. Nobody wants that. And I imagine maybe Attorney Turner's right in some principle thing, but when it comes to landlord stuff, the only principle that matters is the one that ends PAL, principal. All right, principal, the PLE thing did not matter for landlord tenant stuff.
You're so funny. All right, let's go to the algoriters. Algoriters, drop down in the chat. Should celebrity entrepreneurs be given leniency on rent disputes when their businesses uplift the culture? So should we look the other way? Should we support her in some way in helping her get out of this? Put yes in the chat if you want to support Black businesses. No, if a contract is a contract. Let me read the question one more time. Should celebrity entrepreneurs be given leniency on rent disputes when their businesses uplift the culture? Put yes in the chat. Do you support Black businesses, or no, a contract is a contract? All right, let's keep it moving. Alix Lapri, wow, is facing a child cruelty and disorderly conduct charges. I can't wait to get to the bottom of this. Everybody, you know Alix Lapri, the star of Power Book 2 Ghost. Well, now has a real life plot twist. They're facing charges of child cruelty and disorderly conduct. On TV, she plays tough, but in real life, is she crossing a line from acting to now assaulting? Details are scarce, but prosecutors say she endangered her child and acted disorderly in public when confronted. Now, listen, everybody needs to know, algorithms, child cruelty statutes are broad, so even reckless behavior counts as endangering a child. If prosecutors can claim harm or neglect, she could face felony charges. Even if it's minor, the optics are damaging. Hollywood loves a scandal, especially when kids are involved. This is not looking good for her or her career. I'm going to go to you really quickly. Shaitan Turner, can you please explain to the algoriters, because I'm just getting confused with this word felony charges. It seems like everything is a felony charge. What did it used to be before they got strict and made it felony charges? And what makes something a felony charge?
So I don't know that they have had any new standards about felony charges. The laws on the books are the same. They rank them from, you know, summary offenses, which are tickets, misdemeanors, and then you have felonies. Felonies are the most egregious type of crime in the, you know, in the books. In this case, for her, it's a little odd, right? So this one, I believe they actually did charge her with a misdemeanor, and it involves her getting into a fight with somebody else. It's not saying that she like beat children or she hit children or that she did what they did in Sean Carter's house and like took a belt to children. I'm just joking.
Hey.
But yeah, that's not what she, or what they did in my mama's house. I don't think she's on right now. Day corporal punishment was a thing, and I think somebody should have been brought up on charges back then, but that's not what she's being charged with. They're saying she got in a fight with her sister and there was a kid there, and the kid shouldn't have observed this bad behavior, and now it's a crime. And there's a whole lot of people who should be up on charges based on what children observed that they did with other people. So I think she may be successful in getting this pled down into something that might be more like a summary offense.
Got Attorney Carter, tell me though, since you are our resident child beater.
Sorry, Sean.
Since you're our resident child beater, tell me this. Why did they come down so hard on her then? What is going on? Is it her celebrity that they're trying to make an example of? Because I'm really not understanding why they're coming down so hard on her and making it, such a huge deal. Is there any insight you can share with us on that?
It's strange because she got charged with disorderly conduct, but not, and the child was, and basically it's not child endangerment, but it's basically making a child watch a fight. And the idea is that you're fighting in front of children. And the idea is that, wait a minute, you didn't charge her for the actual fight. She didn't get an assault charge or a battery charge, right? So I'm not sure if the sister said, I don't want to press charges. And they said, we're going to press charges anyway. I'm not sure why they're going after her because she's kind of cute. I wouldn't, she can slap the hell out of my kids. I ain't mad at her. But the point is this, though, in seriousness, this law is serious and we need to all take an account of this. I did not even know this, as a lawyer. There are 31 other states that have a law like this, and it basically says if you get in a fight and the kids are watching, all right, you get an extra charge for every kid who sees you whoop your neighbor's butt, okay? And that's serious. I did not realize that, if you got to fight, you got to, it's like Antoine Dotson told us, you got to hide your wife, hide your kids, all right? They're arresting everybody out here.
All right, Jason, let's go to you. Jason, Christine R. said, she could use a spanking if you're spanking people. But on a serious note, Jason, one more time, because I thank you for sharing this with me. But how do prosecutors decide between misdemeanor and then after being charged a misdemeanor, elevating it to a felony when it comes to child cruelty cases?
So child cruelty cases in this instance, it's just the children observed this going on. If a child was the victim, this more than likely would be a felony. And the difference between a misdemeanor and a felony is really just how severe the punishment is. A misdemeanor, you're getting less than a year in jail. A felony, you are getting more than a year in prison. So that's the breakdown. So what happened was basically they got into a fight. The kids witnessed it. It was a bad example and, shame on you, bad role model. We're going to have to charge you with something. More than likely, this is going to be pled down and either dismissed, a little bit of community service, maybe a fine, maybe I'm sorry, this won't happen again, a public statement. But she's really not going to serve any serious time. And this will more than likely be resolved. Maybe not quickly, but rather painlessly for her.
Okay, got it. Let's get to some of these comments. Melina NC said, I see adults fighting in front of kids every day on the internet. Me too. I wonder what that's about. Also, Venetia Phillips says, this is ridiculous. They just lock people up when they know they're famous to get some clout. Oh, that's interesting. Christine R., I think you and I may have grew up in a similar household. She said, my mom beat my ass and handed me the phone. I remember I used to tell my mother, I'm calling child services. She said, come over here. I'll dial the number. She was like, that'd be one less mouth for me to feed.
I kept Ivory soap in business its first years. I ate so much soap. And when they came out with liquid soap, my mom said, come here, open your mouth. And she squirted it in. So.
All right, Cecilia Goda said, I got on just as I heard should have been charged for corporal punishment. Say what? Wasn't nobody out there fighting anybody? I'm just saying.
No.
Yes.
Let me give you the serious reason for this, though, because this is, it seems ridiculous, right? You see people fighting, like I said, on the internet all the time.
Yes.
The reason that we have these laws, and there are good reasons, is that oftentimes it's in a domestic violence situation where a husband is beating the wife, and we're like, look, we want to punish that behavior, and if you do it in front of the kids and scar them and make them watch that, then we really want to be able to punish you. Georgia, unfortunately, gives you 2 free beatings, all right, before you get a felony charge. So use them wisely. I'm just saying.
Attorney Carter, are you the views, the comments of Attorney Carter on this show does not represent the views. And in Georgia, you get 2 free beatings. Okay, let's go to the algorithms really quickly. Should celebrity parents be held to a higher standard when it comes to child-related offenses? Should celebrity parents be held to a higher standard when it comes to child-related offenses? Yes, because they're role models, or no, law should be equal. This is interesting. Should celebrity parents be held to a higher standard when it comes to child-related offenses? Yes, they're role models, or no, the law should be equal. All right, everybody, the likes aren't liking. Be sure to hit that like button. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, be sure to hit that share button. Always turn on your notifications. And don't forget to jump down in the chat because we love to hear from you. JP Mel says, pick your belt was my mother's favorite punishment. No, my mother used to say, go get a switch. Oh, those switches hurt so bad. They used to hurt so bad. Speaking of hurt so bad, Boosie Badazz has made a career out of walking the line between outlaw and icon. But this time, he has crossed the line. He pled guilty to a gun charge, and now sentencing day is looming. Boosie, a convicted felon, was caught with a firearm. Federal law doesn't play. Felons with guns face up to 10 years. He took a plea deal, like we talked a lot about on this show, likely to reduce exposure. But guess what? The prosecutors argue repeat offenders like him deserve prison and absolutely no probation. His history with the law makes leniency harder. I'm going to go to you first, Shaitan. Does Boosie's celebrity help or hurt him when negotiating these type of plea deals?
It depends. Celebrity can cut both ways. So one way it cuts in a negative way is that prosecutors can try to build their reputation based on the fact that they're involved in a high profile case, right? Mm-hmm. And so that can be problematic for the famous person. That said, the notion that celebrities are more likely to get charged, I think, is not fair and is actually proven otherwise, because I think that the courts don't like to have celebrities in their courtroom, with all that attention. So
right.
I think that the celebrity is helpful because you can get away with stuff, but then once you get charged, it's all business.
Sean Carter, for some reason to me, this feels like that it's not that harsh. What are your thoughts about this and what he's going through?
I agree with you 100%. By the way, Boosie explained. Let him try to mumble and explain it in his way first. I think we have from the bailiff, and then I'll tell you why he's wrong.
Okay.
I want to get it behind me and get on with my life. It's a lot of things this case has stopped me from doing, traveling all across the world, making. So I just want to get it over with. Accept my guilty plea. I'm ready to get over with.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
Just say a prayer for me. I just need prayer. I don't need nothing else. Yeah.
And his attorney provided us this video of him performing on stage. Now, Hatch, known as Boosie to his fans, now awaits sentencing. He's a father of 9 kids. His fiancée was with him in court today. So some background on this case. It stems from a traffic stop in San Diego in May 2023. Hatch was arrested in Choias View after police found 2 guns inside a vehicle he was riding in. Now, the state charges were eventually dropped, but the feds then pursued a case against him because he was a convicted felon in possession of a firearm, which violates federal law. Now, the 42-year-old rapper announced earlier this month on social media that he was going to take a plea deal. And so this morning he went before a judge and entered that guilty plea. So here is what his defense attorney told me outside court.
I am optimistic for Mr. Hatch. He, as he just explained, wanted nothing more than to accept responsibility and put this behind him. And now it's my job to make sure the court understands the scope of the case and what the case is really about. And more importantly, all of the amazing things that Mr. Hatch has done for the community, continues to do, and the amazing things that he will do going forward.
By By the way,
And Hatch,
is that the same woman who was representing Lil Nas X? Didn't that look like her?
No, I don't think so.
All right. But anyway,
Hey,
so here's bottom line.
I mean, Attorney Carter, they don't all look alike.
Yeah, they do. Cute is cute. But anyway, here's the thing is, though, all right, is that Boosie was looking at 15 possible years. And what they're not saying here is they found guns in the car, but that fool was holding one when the stop came up. So they had him dead to rights. Now, he has served previously 5 years in Angola, all right, on gun possession charges. If you get a plea deal, that's for less than the stuff you already been in prison for before. That's a little weird. I'm surprised it's only 2 years. And there's some questions that need to be asked there. Two possibilities. Either one, they didn't think they could convict him because maybe one of his boys had come to the police and said, no, that's my gun. I put it in Boosie's hand. He don't like no guns. He allergic to guns. I don't know if that happened. Or two, and I'm not saying this happened, all right? But maybe the reason you get a plea deal like that maybe is you willing to cooperate a little bit. I'm not saying that happened.
Yeah, I said that in the beginning. Remember, Jason, what are your thoughts on this? And what do you think influenced this judge to be so lenient?
Well, first of all, you did say that, so I got to give credit where credit is due, Your Honor. But the judge hasn't been lenient yet, right? Sentencing is until November. The recommended and the hopeful is 2 years. This judge can go ahead and look and say, yeah, that's nice that you guys want 2 years. I'm not giving 2 years. I'm giving 5. I'm giving 1. I'm giving whatever. So we won't know anything about any leniency from the judge. The prosecutor is the one who is giving a little bit of leniency. And maybe the prosecutor, based on what happened with Diddy and other high-profile cases of late, maybe the prosecutor said, we want to save money. We want to save time.
Right. We don't want the heat.
Let's punish him and let's just move on. Because all it was, I mean, I'm not saying it's not something significant, but he violated basically probation or federal law by having a gun in his possession. He didn't use it. It wasn't involved. So, you know, look, he made a mistake and maybe they're giving him the benefit of the doubt. You know, the Sean Carter rule, you know, Sean advocated for Boosie because he thinks he's a stand-up guy. So, you know, maybe they're listening.
I want to go to you for defamation. Are you a damn liar? I want to go to Venetia. I named him Boosie Dumbass. All right, I'll see him right.
I want to go to Venetia Phillips. She says, I hope Boosie doesn't get much time, like 2 years and out in 1. My son just got locked up in D.C. They said he threw a gun. I think they're lying. Trump got these cops out here acting crazy. Listen, I'm in D.C. It's just overkill. I mean, it's overkill. So yeah, my prayers go out to you. Absolutely. I really hope it works out for him because they are really they've taken it to a whole nother level here. All right, really quickly, Shaitan, how much prison time could a plea deal actually save him compared to going to trial? Because I've always wondered if he wanted to beat it and decided to go to trial, what does that look like?
What's the possible sentencing? I might have to rely on Attorney Weiss about the potential sentencing limits if they were to go to trial on these charges, because they pled to 2, and so it's more than that, but I don't know what the specific options were here.
I think he could go ahead and up to maybe 10 years, but I'm not 100% positive, but it's definitely shorter. And you don't have to wait for trial in custody. That's the other thing.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Bingo. That makes perfect sense to me. All right. Let's go to the algorithm. Should repeat offenders like Boosie get second chances? Or should judges throw the book at them? All right. Let me repeat it. Should repeat offenders like Boosie get second chances? Or should judges throw the book at them? Put second chances down in there or throw the book. Throw the book. I say throw the book. Stop wasting taxpayers' money.
Do we think that he spelled his name that way because he wasn't really good at spelling? Because that also looks like that term that you guys were using about the baby oil and the Diddy trial.
Bussy. No,
yeah, but that's what it looks like. It
no,
looks like
Bussy is Bussy. It's B. it's not using the P, but because it's a boy, it's a B. Right. So it's spelled Bussy.
I'm just saying that you could also pronounce Bossie as Boosie. And so
that rhymes with
the other one is Boosie. Counselor.
Yeah, but look how he spells his last name, Badazz. So
I mean, that's
sometimes you have such like white girl moments. Order in my court. Order in my court.
You're not changing my card again.
I can't believe you totally missed that.
No, I know how to spell the one you're talking about. I'm just saying that if I were him, I would not choose a name.
Something so close.
Yes, that's all I'm saying.
So close.
I don't think I would be Boosie Badazz either. I would call me BB. You know, call me my street name was J Dub. So there you go, J Dub. J Dub.
Did you have
definitely don't look like nobody's J Dub, bro?
Oh, I was J Dub.
That's your alter ego talking right there.
Hey, on the streets of Brooklyn, baby.
I didn't have no street name because I had to be in the house by the time streetlights came on. So I don't know about y'all, but
the belt.
Let's be clear. Nobody beating nobody around here. My kids are playing Xbox and smoking joints at 3 a.m. All right, I'm not the good parent. All right, don't call the first on me.
You're just glad their home is safe. That's how my mother was. All right, everybody. Speaking of tragedies, T. Hood's tragic death just got even more complicated. An autopsy has revealed, guess what? That it wasn't an accident or self-defense. Instead, they're saying it was homicide. Now, fans, they want justice, and the police are under pressure to find out who pulled the trigger. Now, police officially ruled T. Hood's death a homicide, though no arrests have been made. This changes everything because prosecutors now must determine intent. Was it murder or manslaughter? Oh, I can't wait till we break this down because all these words are just confusing me. Families often file wrongful death lawsuits once a suspect is identified. Public scrutiny is sky high. Every misstep could cost investigators credibility. So, Jason, let me go to you really quick. All right. How significant, because we were talking in the chambers, how significant is it that it has now been ruled a homicide? What does that mean, number one? And what do they mean when they say, was it murder or manslaughter? What's the difference? Aren't they both the same?
So let's start with homicide. Homicide is the death of one individual caused by another individual. So it could be a car accident. That's a homicide. It could be you push somebody, you fell, you slipped, you pushed somebody over the ledge. That's a homicide. Self-defense is a homicide because if somebody's coming at you with a machete and you pull out the gun and you shoot them and you kill them, that is a homicide, but it's also self-defense. Now, you talked about manslaughter, manslaughter and red rum, because we won't call it that M word. We're going to say manslaughter and red rum. So manslaughter is that someone actually died, but the intent was not to make them unalive. The intent was not there. When it's red rum, the intent was to make that person unalive.
All right, speaking of intent, Bailiff, can you please show the attorneys here the places in which the gun wounds occurred? Because this is what's really throwing me for a loop. All right, so Attorney Carter, we see that there are 6 shots in the back, buttocks, and lower leg. Mm-hmm. And then we have 4 shots in the front leg, front abdomen, stomach area. Who can argue a self-defense here?
You know, I could see if a self-defense claim. It's going to be tough, though, because of the number of shots. He's going to say, I imagine, and by the way, just so we're clear and we all remember what happened here, there was T. Hood is at his place with his girlfriend, who happens to be, what's the name of the family? The Frost.
Rashida and Kurt.
there you go. So the daughter Frost is hanging out with T Hood. There's some allegation that there was some violence going on. She calls her brother. The brother comes in, and then this shooting occurs. The brother says, "I shot him," and talks to the police and says, "Hey, I fear for my life. He was coming at me." And so you're asking a great question. Wait a minute. If he's coming at you, how do you shoot him 4 times in the back?
Right.
And so, or 6 times in the back. And so, there's an argument possibly that, it was all happened fast. It got spun around and, it got carried away. 10 shots is going to be a problem. See, you have an opportunity with self-defense. You can defend yourself to the extent that you think they're going to hurt you. But once they're not hurting you anymore, you can't just empty the clip. You got to stop shooting. And so it's going to be a great argument that says, wait a minute, where do these extra shots come from? Right? You shot the guy, by the way, 4 in the front, 6 in the back. So at some point, it looks like he's running away.
He's running away.
No. So the only thing I'll say is a lot of times, look, there's adrenaline going, there's heat of the moment, there's passion. You're pulling that trigger. You're just pulling. I mean, that's just like, the police officers or somebody should shoot for the tire or shoot for the leg.
Okay. I get that. Hold on. I get that. But I'm going to have to jump in here, Attorney Weiss. Let me tell you something. Okay, if he's coming at him, you shot him 3 times. He clearly is retreating because the only way you can shoot somebody in the back, in the butt, in the legs, and in the back is they are running from you. So you're no longer a threat, right? Am I thinking of this correctly? And then hold on, because this is the thing that I need to know. Attorney Turner, help me here. If you felt so threatened, right, that you had to shoot first 10 times, was the threat so strong that they never got a shot off towards you? Did he get shot at? Did he get a gun pulled on him? Was first shot by the boyfriend in order for the brother or allegedly the brother to respond like this? I need to know, how did he feel so threatened that he shot the guy 3 times in front? The guy clearly is running or went away, or maybe he fell down and on his stomach and he decided to just shoot him again in the back. I don't know. Give me something to go on here, Attorney Turner.
I was trying to follow along, and with that question is, at what point does it convert from self-defense into just an intentional killing? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Like I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and I think they are too, which is why they converted this from self-defense to homicide. So that conversion lets you know, and everybody else, that they're not buying the fact it was self-defense. Whether they're going to put it into manslaughter or murder bucket, that part remains to be seen. But as Attorney Weiss was saying about the definition of homicide, it just means it's killing by another person of another person, right? And so that's where we are now. Their initial story was implausible, and the autopsy contradicted it. And so now it's going to be an opportunity to speak to those who were present again. And as you said, they probably are suspecting something and the milk isn't clean. And now they want to see, well, what exactly do they smell?
Attorney Weiss, let's go back to you really quick. This is my question as it relates to the autopsy, because I find it interesting that they're introducing the autopsy and then from the autopsy elevating it from self-defense to homicide, or however that works. Did that autopsy alone push prosecutors to change their mind on what type of charges they wanted to file?
Well, again, homicide charges are homicide charges. Just because he said, or the family said, or somebody said that it was self-defense, homicide is homicide. So it was always homicide. Self-defense could be one of those things within homicide. But again, homicide is the death of an individual at the hands of another. Now they can go ahead and they can figure out self-defense is homicide, but self-defense is a defense that they're going to use. The state can't charge with self-defense. The state will charge with homicide, and self-defense could be a defense against the charges.
Got it. All right, Megan. Go ahead. What are you saying?
I was just going to say, to Attorney Weiss's point, because I blurted a little bit, is you have to look at it in stages. Like when people say self-defense, to his point, that is a response to the death itself, right? That is what you say to excuse the behavior and to indicate that you shouldn't be convicted of manslaughter if you're talking about something that's unintentional. It's not its own category. So to Attorney Weiss's point, homicide is what happens when you have someone who dies at the hands of another. And then the question becomes, what path does it go down? Should it be criminal? Or is there a defense on the face of it that would result in the person not having to go through the whole criminal process? And so here, the initial response to the fact that this person was dead was the brother said it was self-defense. So the results of the autopsy contradict that. And now they're examining, well, what exactly was it?
All right. Let's go to the algorithms. Should prosecutors move faster on these type of celebrity homicide cases to show accountability? Drop down in the chat and say yes, families deserve justice, or no, rushing risks mistakes. Let me read it again. Should prosecutors move faster on celebrity homicides cases to show accountability? Drop down in the chat yes, families deserve justice, or no, rushing risk mistakes. Drop down in the chat. All right, everybody, those likes aren't liking. Please be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you already subscribed, be sure to hit the share button. Turn on your notifications. And as always, drop down in the chat. Let's see what we're talking about here. Christine R says, Russian always is a mistake. All right. Venetia Phillips says he shot too many times, but they have that stand your ground law out in Atlanta, which I think is ridiculous in some cases. Anybody want to talk about that? What is that? How does stand your law play in this, Attorney Carter?
All right, so traditionally, the rule used to be punk ass rule. And the rule was if you could get away, you need to run. All right, even if you're right or whatever, a lot of states started passing laws that said, no. If you're in your home, you're in a place you're a public place, and you're a place you're allowed to be, then you know what? You can shoot somebody. You don't have to run. Even if you're fast and you're black, you still got it. You can shoot somebody. But here's the thing: is that I'm not sure he has a good stand your ground defense here because he in somebody else's house.
Right.
All right. So you're not really going to be able to use stand your ground. The real issue is, and why it's taking so long. And for once, I'm going to give the police a little credit here, is that the issue is not did you shoot him in the back, but really what angle did you shoot him in the back from? See, it's entirely possible that he's coming at you, he spins around, or that maybe he's running to go get a gun. But if the angle is downward, he was already on the ground, and you shot him in the back, then that's a different thing, right? And they also have to figure out which actually bullet sort of, did the damage. Because if you were already not alive, then shooting up a corpse is not murder, right? So let's say you shot someone and because you had a good reason, self-defense, they fell down, and then you shot them several more times if they were already expired. That's not murder. Right?
So what is it when you decide to unload the clip and he's already down? There's no consequences for that?
Not if they're already deceased. Right? What have you done?
Right.
You possibly get desecration of a corpse or something like that, but that's not really a big deal because you didn't actually, unalive them when you were in the wrong. And so they got to figure all this out. They're gonna have to hire the ballistics experts to come in and say, okay, this bullet hit him first, this hit this did that, etc. It's going to take a little time. They also need to talk to all the witnesses because I think it was more than just the 2 or 3 of them there. And so they're going to want to talk to everybody, make sure they get the story straight, talk to the neighbors, figure out, you see a strange car. And so it's going to take a little time. The young man who's alive now is not out of the woods yet. And of course, even if they don't file criminal charges, there's probably going to be a civil lawsuit.
Right. Okay. Let me see, Bailiff, if you don't mind, if you can put the picture of the angles of the shots and see if the attorneys can break down. All right. So that's why they have those lines, maybe.
Yeah, no, but those lines are just sort of, because they wanted to sort of say it's 1B, 2B diagram. Right. They're not really showing the angle.
Okay, so that's not the angle.
Those are not the angles. Those are just labels.
Okay, got it. All right, Gina Lee 197071 says, Al, don't know what's happening tonight, but the bailiff is doing great. bringing people to the main stage. Looks like I think he's not sipping tonight, generally.
I am.
I think he is sipping. I think he is sipping tonight. That's why.
Oh, maybe he is sipping tonight, Bailiff. I mean, generally. All right, everybody. This is the time of the show where we go back and we examine the cases and decide who's guilty or who's not in the court of public opinion. First up, ladies and gentlemen, we have Pinky Cole. Is Pinky Cole guilty or not guilty of paying them folks for her rent? Attorney Turner, what say you?
You know, I got to side with the ladies. I'm going to say not guilty until I get more facts. And Pinky, send me one of those burgers, please.
Attorney Weiss, please help me here. Guilty, not guilty?
She's guilty of not paying her rent.
All right. Okay. Attorney Carter.
She's guilty of trying to make me eat a damn vegan burger. All right. You better put some bacon and some meat on there, girl. And pay your rent.
All right, I'm Al Reynolds, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court. And Pinky, you are a cultural phenomenon. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to find you guilty. Guilty is charged for not paying your rent. Sweetheart, you're a mastermind. You purchased your whole company back under another company's name and got it all financed. Can you tell the people who financed your purchase back, your buyback, to throw in $87,000? Am I the only one thinking this?
It's not about money. We're going to find out the real story.
I know, but I'm just saying, you literally lost your company, valued at hundreds of millions of dollars. You got mad, right? I'm just, your guys, I mean, you got mad. You went and said, I want my company back. You did a finance structuring. She did a finance restructuring to purchase the company back. Throw the $87,000 in there. All right, sorry, Pinky, but you are guilty of not paying. Alix Lapri, is she guilty or not guilty of fighting in front of that little baby? Attorney Carter, what say you?
Look at that woman. That woman ain't guilty of a damn thing. All right, I don't care what you say. Innocent by reason of fine.
Attorney Weiss, please save me here.
I think she is not guilty. I think these charges will be dropped. She'll probably have to go to counseling or some sort of community service, maybe pay a fine, but I think they overcharged her on this, and I think it's ridiculous.
All right, Attorney Turner, what are your thoughts? Guilty, guilty?
I think she's guilty of exercising poor judgment, but should she be facing these criminal charges? I don't think so.
All right, got it. I'm Al, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. And we're going to find her guilty of not knowing the law. She grew up watching people fight in front of her, so she thought she could. But, baby, not in whatever state you living in. Somebody, may have been the cops, have decided to use you as an example. And unfortunately, I hope that Jason is right. Or fortunately, I hope Jason's right, and they reduce these charges and let this be a lesson learned for this rising star, because we need as many rising stars of color that we can possibly have. All right, let's go to Boosie. Boosie, is he guilty or not guilty of doing dumb shit? That's all I know to say right there. Attorney Carter, what say you?
Boosie is guilty of liking prison a little too much. If I had done 5 years in prison, I wouldn't jaywalk. You did 5 years in Angola, and you still out here holding a gun, talking about, well, it's better to be caught.
You know that's right. You know that's right. Attorney Weiss, what say you?
He's guilty of being a dumbass.
Attorney Turner.
Look at that picture y'all put up. He looks like he's guilty of a whole lot. He's guilty of staying up late too many times. He's guilty of smoking too much weed. He's guilty of spending too much on necklaces. He's guilty of a lot of stuff. But I think in this case, he'll be smart. He'll get this 2 years, put it behind him, and keep making music.
All right. I'm Al Reynolds, and I'm the judge here at Celebrity Court. And Bootsy, you're my guy. He's probably one of the friendliest people. He's one of those entertainers that I have to say, until you meet him, you don't really understand why he's such a phenomenon. Can I get the main stage? We shouldn't have complimented the bailiff too soon. We should have complimented too soon. I promise you guys, the way that man presents in front of you, if any of you guys, alligators, drop down, if you've ever met him, he's just infectious. He's infectious. He's cool. I get it, but Bootsy, I gotta find you guilty as charged. Last but not least, let's go to T Hood. I guess who would we find guilty here? I don't know if there's a guilty or a not guilty verdict here, but let's go to the who is being examined, which is the Frost kid. Are they guilty or not guilty of some type of cover-up, allegedly? Attorney Weiss, what say you?
I think we're all guilty of rushing too fast to judgment on this one, and that we need to let them do their investigation and let's figure out what was going on, because there's a lot of conflicting things, 10 shots and where they're located. So I'm going to steal your line, Your Honor. Something in the milk ain't clean.
All right, Attorney Carter, what say you?
I need the bailiff to put that picture back up again.
Of T Hood?
You know who's guilty, right? Mama guilty of cheating. That boy does not look like his daddy. Look at the girl compared to the boy. All right, somebody in the mattress clean. That's all I'm saying. That boy too light skinned to be in that family.
Attorney Turner, save us, please.
Mama wasn't stepping out. That baby was just like her. But I think he's guilty of making an emotional response to his sister's situation. So for the alligators, if this happens to you, I appreciate people's desire to defend their family, but what he should have done was to gone there, had the cops meet him, and they just rolled in the house and got his sister out of that situation, because now, you know, he may be facing some very serious charges, and he wouldn't.
And he don't look like
handle.
Right. Put that picture back up one more time.
Yeah, he don't look like he gonna do well if he got to.
He don't look like he gonna do well in prison, baby.
Everybody keeps talking about he look like his mama. Yeah, of course he look like his mama. I ain't saying the mama cheated on herself. Yeah, he look like because he look like his daddy.
You know what I'm done.
Sometimes children don't look like their father.
All right, I'm Al Reynolds, and I am the judge here in Celebrity Court, and we're gonna find somebody guilty of something. I don't know if it's infidelity. I don't know if it's cover up. I don't know. Something in that milk, baby.
Maybe Sean Carter was sleeping with her back in the day before he got married.
That boy's lips too little to be mine.
No, you didn't. You are a mess. All right, so there you have it. Pinky Cole fighting her landlord, Alix Lapri fighting charges, Boosie fighting for his freedom, and T Hood's family is fighting for some answers. Here's the question, though. When it comes to celebrity justice, is it justice for all or justice for sale? Should Pinky's cultural impact excuse her missed rent? Should Alix Lapri's star power shield her from child cruelty charges? Should Boosie's fame earn him mercy or a mandatory sentence? And should T Hood's homicide case get the fast track because cameras are watching? That's what makes Celebrity Court different. We don't just report, we rule. And your verdict matters. Drop your comments, cast your votes, and tell us who's guilty in your mind, who's innocent, and who's just too famous to fail. I'm Al Reynolds, your judge for the culture. Court is now adjourned, or at least until the next scandal hits. Everybody have a great Labor Day weekend and have a good night. See you next week.